Hey everyone, surprise surprise, this isn't an Overwatch video. I wanted to start doing One Piece videos again, and also doing my podcast. Since my little hiatus, I kind of just wanted to, do more things. So I'll be kind of sprinkling them in here and there in the future. One Piece videos are a lot harder to make, so maybe it depends on how I decide to make them. So I might be, doing them here and there. But yeah, for One Piece, however, I'd rather stick to the character matchups, because those are the funnest things for me to do. So yeah, let's begin this. So in this video, we'll be doing King versus Katakuri. And this is a video I've been wanting to do for a while. I had my Sanji versus Zoro video I did last year, maybe like 2 years ago. I don't even remember anymore. When I started the channel, and it did pretty well. But it was fun. It's just the editing takes forever. So I'm gonna keep it simple. I might just put an Overwatch gameplay in the background. So one of the problems I came across when writing this up was the way Zoro and Luffy beat King and Katakuri. It was kind of bullshit, and I believe most of the community would agree. There is no real explanation as to why or how Luffy was able to beat Katakuri, since he was stronger, faster, and still could avoid all of Luffy's attacks even after Luffy learned Future Sight. He still couldn't hit him. Kat still just dodged everything and hit him with more powerful blows. Same with King. Even after Zoro learned to master Enma, he still couldn't damage King when he had his flames on. He still only beat him when King turned off his flames, which nobody who reads One Piece really understands why that even happened, especially when he was fighting from long range and attacking. The only boost he gets from turning on his flames is speed, but he was stationary. But we'll get into that. It could be just that I know King is not stupid, right? But it just doesn't make any sense. That whole fight doesn't make any sense, and I think everybody agrees. But let's keep going. So the way I do this, I break it off into 3 different parts, 3 different segments, and then at the end, I kind of discuss kind of how everything would play out. So the different categories is the attack, the durability, and the evasiveness or speed. So let's get into it. So for the attack, let's look at Katakuri first. From what we know, he's at least much stronger than Luffy pre-Wano, attack power-wise. We know this because it's stated over and over again. So Katakuri's awakening essentially makes him be able to attack from anywhere on the ground as he turns the entire ground into Mochi and, could smother anybody. We know that he also has at least the range that Luffy does when stretching, which kind of tends to just be infinity. There was an SBS with Oda where he just gave like a fake unit of measurement of how far Luffy could go. So yeah. And also he has a projectile called Burning Mochi, so he can fight at very long ranges. And he also has his spear, which he seems pretty adept. That does a lot of damage. It took a chunk out of Luffy that one time. So yeah. So next, let's talk about King's attack power. He has a sword, but he isn't necessarily a swordsman, right? He's just a guy who fights with a sword, like Big Mom. She's just Big Mom and she has a sword, but she's not like a Zoro or a Mihawk or anything like that. He also has a self-destruct ability, which really put a hurt on Zoro, who had just healed up, which is, I think that's impressive. I think this move is going to be maybe the most important thing as we keep going through. He has that goofy ability that lets him launch his head, which from what Zoro said was too fast to even block. So I don't know if he just missed or something, but I think it also took a chunk out of Zoro when he did it right next to him. So it's very, 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 very fast. We don't think it's as fast as Black Mamba, but it probably could be. But even if it is, it's not as continuous. It's just kind of a one move thing. But most importantly, he has the ability to use lava level moves like Akainu. And I think that's very impressive. I don't think he's Akainu level. I think we kind of saw that, which also didn't make sense, the way they all lost to Green Bull so easily. But yeah, I'm not going to underestimate the level of attack, but lava level attacks seem to be the higher up level of fire-based attacks in One Piece. And Oda has said that Akainu's fruit is like the most destructive fruit in the series. So since King could also do similar things, I'm gonna give this category the win to King. Plus, Katakuri mainly uses impact attacks like his punches and slams, and although they're crazy powerful, right? Like he's always shattering the earth and, breaking things apart. But the fact that King has a fire component to him and he can self-destruct, I think that's his advantage for this category. But although they're both very strong, it's probably like, I don't know, if Katakuri is like 8.5, then King is like a 10 or something like that. But yeah, I think attack power wise, I think it goes to King. So for durability, I think we all know King can't be hurt, like at all. I think King, while his flame is on, is the highest durability in the entire series so far, and that includes Kaido. When his flames are on, nothing could hurt him. Nothing. Not even Zoro mastering Enma could do anything to him. He himself said that there's no point of attacking him when his flames are on. Which also doesn't make any sense, because it means that Zoro didn't need to power up to defeat him. He just needed to wait for him to turn off his fire to land the final blow. I really don't understand what Oda was going for in this fight. It doesn't make any sense. Especially because we have no idea as to why King even turned his flames off to begin with. Even the Seraphim aren't taking any damage from Lucci or Gear 4 Luffy, the main characters of the show. Well, the main character. However, it did seem like when Nami used Zeus on the Seraphim, Jinbei was the younger Jinbei. The Seraphim Jinbei was affected by it. So maybe internal damage would still hurt. But I don't know. We don't have any proof of that. And Katakuri doesn't have any Ryuo or any advanced Conqueror's Haki moves. So for now, unless King turns off his flame, there is nothing Katakuri could do to take him down. On top of that, we also don't even know if King is awakened, right? But as for now, since we didn't see it, I can't really factor that in. So I can't give him that one. As for Katakuri, so this one's weird, right? People may think that he has a very low durability because Luffy essentially beat him with like 10 hits while he hit Luffy like over 100 times. But and this includes stabbing himself with his own spear, right? Which is probably the most damage he sustained during the whole fight. But in the manga, I don't even think they showed how Luffy defeated him. I think we just kind of left and came back and Katakuri was on the ground. I think Oda may have, written himself in a corner and didn't really know how to do it. But yeah, but it does seem that, so I don't want to say that he has extremely low durability, because one, I think the only reason Luffy won was because he's the protagonist, but two, I think he has like maybe regular defense when he's regular commander level durability when he can't dodge an ability, and I think maybe King might be the same way when he doesn't have his flames on. But either way, this one easily goes to King. King has, it's not even close. It's not even up to debate. I shouldn't even be talking anymore. The only other thing we do have for this category is that Katakuri can grow back his limbs if one of them gets like blown off or cut off or anything like that. So we'll see how that plays on in the overall analysis. So yeah, he was taking a decent amount of damage from base Luffy when Luffy was able to actually hit him. I think it'd be the same thing with King if he had his flames off. So yeah, this category goes to King regardless. So for speed or evasiveness, this one hands down goes to Katakuri. You can't hit Katakuri. Unless you have Future Sight, there you don't have anything to hit Katakuri with. Maybe, but we'll get into that in the analysis. And even if you do have Future Sight, that only gives you the chance to hit him, because once Luffy was able to activate his Future Sight, even Black Mamba wasn't hitting him. So there was actually there's actually nothing you can do. And from what we've seen with Luffy, it's still possible to hit somebody if you're going too fast for them to react. We saw this with when Kaido did his Thunder Bagua against him, and he still kind of grazed Luffy. The difference about that with Katakuri is that Katakuri doesn't need to move out the way. He just needs to move the piece of his body part that's about to get hit, which makes dodging like significantly easier. In other words, with his Future Sight and his fruit, he's essentially imitating Logia's ability, so nothing is really going to hit him. Again, almost nothing. As for King, the only time he gains tremendous amounts of speed is when he turns off his flames, but he still wasn't fast enough to dodge some of Zoro's attacks. So unless he just decided not to move, I don't understand. I don't understand. But yeah, it seems like it's only meant for offensive things instead of like kind of dodging, because I don't think we've ever seen him use his increased speed to dodge an attack. We just kind of see him use it to fight. And I guess he also usually doesn't even dodge. He can fly though, which isn't nothing, because Katakuri doesn't really have projectiles. Well, and then again, he does kind of have projectiles. He has the flaming mochi, the burnt mochi, and he has Luffy range of fighting. So even if his arms do get cut off or whatever, he can just grow those back. I think this hands down goes to Katakuri. Like there's almost nothing that could be done to Katakuri to be able to hit him.
Hey everyone, I'd like to interrupt this video to remind you to like and leave a comment. It's the best thing you can do to a video so that YouTube increases its reach, and I'd really like to keep growing this community, especially since we have so many good discussions and debates in the comment sections, and I do read and try to reply to every single comment. So please like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you like it. But yeah, for the algorithm, please like and comment.
So essentially, it kind of becomes a defense versus evasiveness fight. Katakuri doesn't necessarily have anything to hurt King with, unless he turns off his flames, and King doesn't have anything to be able to hit Katakuri with unless he somehow ups his speed to like some crazy degree, which he's not able to do. I also do want to get this out the way. The sticky component of Katakuri's attacks will not affect King in any way, because one, he can set himself on fire, and he can self-destruct, so I don't think that would affect him at all. I think the only way King can hope to hit Katakuri is two ways. One is he turns off his flames and somehow goes so fast that he outspeeds Katakuri's future sight with maybe some high level planning, something like that, which is it's not possible. We got to be real about that. It's not possible. Only way to even attempt to catch Katakuri, like I said before, is to have future sight yourself. And again, this doesn't even guarantee that you're gonna hit him. Yeah, and if he does do that, because Katakuri has future sight, if King decides to turn off his flames to kind of get super speed to try to get a hit onto Katakuri could use his future sight to time an attack that will do damage to King. So it kind of all depends on whether or not he decides to turn off his flames or not, which I think he shouldn't do it, but he did it against Zoro for no reason, so maybe for some reason he'll do it in this fight too. But if you're doing them as, not being silly, I don't think he'd be turning off his flames for speed, because he's going to lose the speed fight. The other way King can do damage to Katakuri and actually be able to hit him is if he has some type of massive AoE attack that doesn't allow Katakuri to split his body into parts to be able to dodge using his future sight. So that would have to be maybe some type of giant self-destruct ability. He would have to get in close and activate it fast enough for Katakuri to not be able to get out of the range. But I think that's doable. I don't think him getting close would be a problem. But then again, if he really needs to get close, the way to get close would be to increase his speed. But if he increases his speed, well, then Katakuri will probably just hit him because he has future sight. Now, I did think of something else. Since part of Katakuri's kit is to smother his opponent, will that be able to suffocate the flame on his back? Like, let's say he turns around to Mochi and just kind of throws a mountain of Mochi on top of King. Would that be able to turn off his flame? I have no idea. But then again, King could just self-destruct. He doesn't need his flame on the back to destruct, which would blow all the Mochi away. So I don't even think that's a valid. I don't think that would work regardless. So I guess there's only three ways I think this fight can go. King stays in his flame mode and never increases his speed, making it so Katakuri can't hurt him, but he can't hit Katakuri, which might end up being some type of stamina battle. Or King is able to get close enough to do his AoE self-destruct attack on Katakuri, which he won't be able to dodge even with his future sight, and maybe he hits it a few times, because we saw how much damage it did to Zoro. Or the last way I can see this going is King tries to play the speed game to kind of outspeed Katakuri's evasiveness, but during that time Katakuri could time in an attack with his future sight and get a good hit on him, and that would be a pretty effective way to take out King. So in conclusion, I'm giving this to King. I don't see what he can do against King's self-destructibility, and if King doesn't turn off his flames, there's nothing he can do to harm King. King could go to sleep in the middle of the fight, and like he'll be fine as long as his flames are on. So yeah, I don't see why King would turn off his flames for speed. So that would just be kind of dumb. So yeah, it goes to King. And I wouldn't even say that it's close or far away. It's just there's only like one. It's either like a draw. It's either a draw or King is dumb enough to turn off his fire. Because if King doesn't turn off his fire, I don't see what he can do to actually hit Katakuri. But yeah, with all those factors in, I'm pretty sure King would get it. I think his AoE attacks and his fire attacks, all that type of stuff, I think that is a way around Katakuri's ability to dodge very precise hits like that. And I try to think of scenarios where, let's say King has maybe a smoke ability since he can do fire, or he like sets a place on fire. There's a lot of smoke, and we saw in the cover pages that Katakuri can't really see through smoke, but you couldn't really see through the smoke because Caesar wasn't really fighting him. If Caesar was trying to fight him through the smoke, you probably could see the moves coming in with his future sight, but I think Caesar was just trying to run away. So if King is trying to fight him through the smoke, I think you'll probably see it coming. So yeah, this one goes to King, and yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I hope to do more things like this. I want to do Zoro versus Yamato. I want to do Jinbei versus Sanji would be a fun one. And even more like random characters, like what's the name? The poison guy from Impel Down. I don't remember his name. Sorry, it's late, guys. I'm forgetting. But yeah, don't forget to leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, and don't forget, I love you.